It's interesting that you bring that up because when I was growing up, I didn't see anybody with Down syndrome. Now, I did have a few peers who had siblings who, looking back, they probably had autism or something like that. We didn't understand it then or know it, but the person or the child was always sort of kept in a corner. They didn't go out with the rest of us. You didn't know. They didn't talk about them. They didn't say anything. You didn't know what was going on with them. For me, I just knew something was wrong. I didn't know what, but I was also raised in a family where you don't go out and say things, or I was conscious of the fact that there is mental illness, and I just associated it with mental illness. And looking back, I think quite a few of those people probably had autism that I didn't know about, but they didn't interact with us. They didn't, so I didn't know much about them. I just thought they were there. I didn't think about school for those people because I don't remember seeing them go to school. If they did, there was nothing. There's nobody ever in any of my classes that had sort of a developmental disability or anything like that. The closest I had to anything like that was sort of in the boarding house we had two young ladies who were blind, and they read with Braille. That's the only interaction I saw in the school system that where they actually put that in the curriculum. They were actually able to engage in general curriculum. But I wasn't close enough to either of them, so I didn't talk to them. I didn't interact with them in any way or anything, but I also didn't say anything against them, and I think that had much more to do with my background coming from where I came from. When I first received the news of Yomi having Down syndrome, I thought the worst. I didn't give thought to how well she would do or any of that. I thought all the stereotypes that I had heard. Right. I didn't think a lot about the hope. Now, a lot has changed since then again. It's amazing when you read, a lot more comes to the surface. You go, oh, yeah. So that was my perspective, I think, as a Nigerian getting this news for the first time. I think because I'm over here, I have learned, one, I have seen examples of people with Down syndrome who are successful, okay, who are doing well. I've seen a lot of the stereotypes squashed just in the people I have met. So we go for national conferences on Down syndrome, so we get to see the ranges. They're all ranges of people with Down syndrome, okay? And for us, we're learning very quickly that the work you put in on the front end is really key, and that will help. So when you think about the front end work, in the U.S. we have early intervention. So you get, once a child is diagnosed with some risk of a disability, that child automatically, they have to meet some requirements, but 90% of the time or 98% of the time, they're going to get services, okay? So they're going to get physical therapy, occupational therapy, whatever it is they are lacking in that needs to be worked on to get them developmentally to where they need to be, okay? So we have that. We also have the IDEA, which is the individual, I think it's legislation passed so that people with disabilities can actually go to school and actually be in the same classroom with other students and have services that they need that will help them meet the challenges so that they can work in cohesion with their peers, have the same education. That's not there at home. At least I haven't seen that. I have friends who have children with, at least one friend who has a child with Down syndrome, and I hear some of the things that are just not there. And if it's not there, if we don't put the money in there up front, okay, you're going to pay later on in terms of the productivity of that child when they get to be adults. So if you put the work in up front, they're going to do better when they become older. And for me, I've seen the range. We've seen the range. We've seen the successes, the little things we try at home and how she grabs onto them. It's like, of course she can learn. It might take a little longer than most kids. In some cases, it's earlier. Yomi is 3. She can sight read 30 words at least. Most 3-year-olds, disabilities or not, can't do that. Okay, so it's not everything they're going to be delayed on. So when you see those things, you begin to learn that a lot is about what work you put in, the expectations you set for that child, but also the support system. Support system, family, state level, schools, everybody that interacts with that child. Remember, it's our experiences in life that build us, that make us who we are, right? So if your experiences are positive, those experiences stretch you in the right way, you'll grow. That's no different for any of our children. So for me, there's hope, a lot of hope.